Hello YouTube, this is Aiden here, and today we're going to be looking at some more features of the JSML GUI Framework. So if you recall last tutorial, we looked at getting started with adding your library to the project down here, and we also looked at creating a few of our first files here, so definition, layout, and style sheet. And then we also looked at implementing a few features of the framework within our main class. So if we go ahead and run our project, if you recall, this should create a basic GUI tutorial window. One thing I will point out is that the name of my library here, Swing Markup Alpha, may not be the exact same thing that you guys have, so it might be something a little different. But whatever you download from my website, like I showed you earlier, is exactly what you want in your class path here. So let's move on. So we set up our files here, and we also did a bit with our definition here. So we've got our width, height, resizability, and title, as well as our orientation. So today we're going to be looking at getting some stuff on our GUI, not just a blank GUI. So to do that, we're going to want to go into our layout.jsml file, or whatever you named it, and we're going to start out by defining our panel. So to do that, we have like angle brackets here. So shift comma or period that makes the angle brackets, and so this is sort of a markup language, meaning that you have tags, which are basically text inside of angle brackets. I'll talk about a little bit more about that in a minute. So to make a panel, we need panel width is equal to 400. Height is equal to 400. So this panel is going to take up the entire screen. That's why I'm setting it to the exact dimensions of our GUI. And ID is going to be equal to panel. And I think that is everything that we need for our panel. So I'm going to go ahead and get /panel. Okay, so the panel tag is special in that it has two tags composed it. So you have one tag here, and that contains the panel, which is sort of like the declarator of the tag. And then you have elements equals, and then in brackets you have the value of the element. So elements are basically things and tags that you have spaced out. So in this case, we have width and then equals 400, and we have height in equals 400 as well. And then the ID is panel. So what you have is you have tags, and they all have within them different IDs depending on what kind of tag they are, or different elements, I mean. And then you can set these to whatever you want. And then in this case, the closing tag here just says that everything between this tag here and this tag here is going to be within that panel. So let's see, what are we going to make? Maybe we'll make, let's say a login screen. So I'll show you what we're going to be making. So over here, I have this GUI here. So we're going to maybe make something like this. So maybe like a login sign up GUI or something like that. So let's make something similar to this. So let's see, I have text ID is equal to, I'll type this out and then I'll explain what it does. Login label equal to can't type today. 5 and value is going to be login. Alright, so what the text is here is what's actually called a label usually in GUIs, and it's just regular text on the screen. So we have every single widget or component of the GUI that you have in the JSML language is going to have an ID, and this is how you're going to access it from your Java code later on. It's also how you're going to access it on the style sheet. So it's really critical that you have this. It will not work without it. The width and the height are just simple, the amount of space the text will take up. So yeah, so for right now you have to define the width and the height in your text. I think in a future version it's going to be fixed. And then top and left, I'll explain this. So these are basically like the coordinates of the widget that you're looking at on the screen. So in this case, the text here which the value is going to be login. So the actual text of the text, if that makes sense, is going to be login. So actually what this makes is right here, that little 5 letters over there, say login. So the value is what the actual text is. Now the top and left are sort of coordinates, like I said. So the top is the y coordinate, or you can think of it like this. The top is how many pixels down from the top of the screen the label is. So actually I can go ahead and run our GUI over here, and you'll note that now, oh, save. What did I do wrong? It's not right. Hang on guys, let me figure this out. Okay guys, I fixed it. Turns out there's actually a bug with the current release of the framework that I have. However, the public release has this bug fixed, and I had to update to the newest one. And now when I run this, you'll notice that I get an error. Okay guys, I'm just be back. Uh-oh. Derp, I accidentally had removed the angle bracket that goes right there. You guys might notice that. My bad. But now, it does work. I got my little login text here. Obviously, we're going to want to make the look a little nicer in the future, but we'll get to that. So, there are other components that we can add. One of them might be the text field. ID, I'm going to call this this is where the user can type in their username. So I'm going to say username, and width is going to be equal to 100, height to say 30, and top is going to be equal to 100, as well as left 100. So 100 pixels down from the top and 100 pixels out from the left. I'm going to have this value is what text is inside of the text field. So in this case, nothing. And we'll call that good. So now this should probably work unless I'm a liar. But yep, so now you get a text field where the user can type in their username. So that could be like lone dev and stuff like that. So that's what that does. We'll obviously making that look a little nicer in the future as well. So usually in a login screen you have 2 text fields, a username and a password. So it's like a password field. Password field ID is equal to password, width is equal to oopsie, height to 30, and top 150, and we'll make left 100. So this is just going to be a little bit further down from the username. So yeah, that should work. And if I run that, oh, I forgot to close this. My bad. Okay, there we go. So now I have a username, type in username, and then a password where I can type in the password. So that's cool. And then finally, we're going to probably want a button to submit all of this. So I'll make a button ID, call this submit button. Width is 100. Oops, yeah, 100. And height is going to be equal to 100. Oh no, not 100. Sorry, 30. Top is equal to 200. So it's going to be another 2 pixels down from the password field. And the left is going to be 1 to 50. So it's aligned with everything else. Or no, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be centered between everything else because its width is 100 where the text fields are 200, so we knock it out. 50 pixels, it's going to be centered. And then the value is equal to submit. So the value is always going to be the text that is displayed in the widget. So in this case, the text of the button or the text of the password field. Actually, you might not be able to set the value of the password field. I'm not really sure if you can or not. And then, of course, the text field, if I set the value here to username, that would be what's in the text field. So if you look at this, you can see we have our button here, and it also has text. I'm not sure if it currently works. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, that's a future version. I'm using a. This is an unreleased version. I think you can set. I don't think you can set the prompt in this version. Let's set the prompt to enter text. Run. Yeah, that does not work in this version. So it's an unreleased version that there's a prompt text. So like text that'll go away immediately after click on the text field, but that does not exist yet. All right, so we got a little bit of a basic GUI here. Login, yeah, so a few things there. Okay, so now what I want to do for maybe the rest of this tutorial is talk about different layouts for your panel. So I think what we're going to want to do is eventually have like this sort of GUI that I made a while ago, or before this episode, is have like our login stuff over here, and then have like sign up stuff over here, which obviously this is not sign up stuff, but we're actually going to put sign up stuff over here. And then, you know, have like 2 tabs where you can kind of go in, so which I think would be kind of cool. So that's what we're going to do. So if you want to have multiple panels, right now the best way to do that is not to have another panel like this, just like kind of what you want to do is go into your place. Oh, you notice when I was trying to fix that issue, by the way, I decided to move all of my files into the source folder. So now I have source. So before they were out in here in the base, in outside in the package folder, but now I put them in my source because I thought that might be the best place to put them, considering their kind of code. And yeah, that was the best place to put them. I'm sorry, that was just another file I had up there. So what we're gonna do is, if you want multiple panels in this framework, then you're gonna want to make a new file for each panel that you have. So I'm gonna call this second, or I'll call it second layout .jsml. And in here we can have another panel, so I can just go in here and just copy and paste this. And copy and paste this. Alright, so now we have 2 panels. Now how do we get both of these panels on? So the first thing we're going to want to do is go over here to main. And in this case, we're going to make a tabbed layout. So we want to add them in the order that they're going to be, that the tabs are going to be in from left to right. So I want the login to be first. So I'm going to do the sign up second. So add layout resource, and then here we can do source slash second layout .jsml, and that should work. And then the other thing we need to do is, this right now will not work. It'll still only add the first one. You'll notice only got that one still. Remember we went earlier, we were in a definition file here and we set our orientation. Well, basic means that there's only one panel, that's going to take up the entire screen. So if we want to have multiple panels on the screen, we need to choose a different orientation. So in this case, we're going to choose tab. There are quite a few orientations. If you want to look into them more, you should go onto the documentation and take a look at the different orientations that there are, because there are quite a few. But in this case, we're going to be using tabbed. And you'll notice that we have 2 tabs. One is a blank screen, the other is this thing here. So if you want to have text in your tabs, which you probably do, then in here we need to add another element to our panel tag. So let's say title is equal to, and this is going to be login. So the title just has text in the tab, so you don't need that unless you're doing a tab layout. And you also have a login tab here, and then we should go over to our second layout .jsml over here and add that to this thing as well. So title equal to sign up. And we can run this now, and we'll see that we have login and sign up. So that's kind of cool. Now that I said that we're actually going to do this practically, we can go ahead and change this to login slash sign up. So now we have our little title here. We get a little bit of a nice little tab layout. So I suppose we might as well, just while we're at it, just go ahead and get a few other components laid out. So yeah. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is make another label, I suppose. So we'll do text. ID is equal to, I'll call it sign up label. Give it the same height as before and the same width as before. Top is going to be 50 again, and left is going to be, yeah, kind of like 175. That's fine. And then value will be sign up. And then we're going to make, so we're going to want probably, I'm just going to grab the same code for text field and password field again. We can add these here, and then we can go over here and just do that. We can go C, toss that guy there, because we're going to want two passwords. One is going to be for the password, the other is going to be confirming the password, and then here we're going to want to make this down like 200 pixels from the top. And I suppose we might as well grab our button again. Could type out new code if I wanted to make it look different, but I don't really see the point in that. And then I'll make the top 250, I think. And yeah, I'll get the submit capital S and do it over here too. See. There we go. And now if I run this, we'll see that we have a login over here and sign up over here. So you can see, guys, that this is really easy to just whip out a GUI in like 5 seconds with my framework here. Alright, so now that we have that, I think we're going to wrap up the tutorial here, guys. Next tutorial, we're going to look at maybe making this look a little nicer, giving it some style elements, stuff like that. And then after that, we'll look at making this button do something, and maybe defining our own custom orientation. So that's all for now, guys, and like, comment, subscribe. Take it easy.